Grandmama used to pray, oh Lord, please save them from the evil snares and all the dangers that entangle. Yea, though they walking through the valley of the shadows, just prepare and make them fit for every battle. Because I know they bound to come, and I know they bound to fall, but in your bounty, Lord, preserve their beautiful. Right, we still survive and offer grandma's prayers, surrounded by the jungle and the lion's den. Tread light, cause these traps is inconspicuous. They hide right in plain sight, thinking we don't see them when they linger. Look right beneath the surface, then leave a trail of corpses. Crisis, prices, your life a disposable commodity. Like living in this fantasy, conditioned to believe that the system even cares whether selling CDs or walking or driving or reading. Look, they don't even need a reason. It's just you breathing and being black. When it's such a pretty fall, it don't seem like we falling at all, at all. It's just a GMO dream, where things are never really what they seem. Please cue the violins, tell them just to play me something pretty, cause this gritty city got me screaming bloody murder. So they got me screaming. This gritty city got me on some. Look, get your hand up on my pocket. Distraction, so lazy they use the same tactics. Like condom with some trinkets, just don't let them get to thinking. That light bulb gets a blinking. You know niggas and ideas. Oh dear, my dear, you may not know me, but I know you very well. Foresight, they say hindsight is 2020. Well, tell me something, we gotta see that history is on repeat. And maybe it takes a beat and a melody to speak a little louder than the message in the clouds or the essence in the air. I swear, my God is just so clear that a system driven by fear can never give us nothing but more of the same things. Oh, when it's such a pretty fall, it don't seem like we falling at all. It's just a GMO dream, where things are never really what they seem. Please cue the violins, tell them just to play me something pretty, cause this gritty city got me screaming. It's murder. Got me screaming, got me. This gritty city got me on some.
Everything was European background. The upbringing, the teaching in school. But my father was a pastor, you know, a pastor. And everything had to be English and everything. We were not even allowed to speak our country's language in schools, and they called the language our own languages vernacular. So English was the real language you had to speak in school. So everything was English. With what we were taught in schools, nobody was thinking of whether to be African or not. We just accepted that we were English, and anybody that went to England for studies was a master, you know. So everybody wants to go to England, come back home to be master, you know. So I never thought about it, being African as such, you know. So it didn't mean anything to me until much later in my life. It was in England I started to feel the awareness of having to be an African, because for the first time I came to England, I started to feel, oh wow, so these white people don't like us too much. You know, this is my experience from having to rent rooms, you know. I had so much, at that time you read the newspapers in England, house for rent, no coloreds, no dogs, and all this. That annoyed me a lot, and I had many students, you know. So at my student days in England, I started to be aware of having to be an African, but we had nothing to offer as Africans because we were all just taught English. Like one of the latest songs I'm singing now, I said, teacher, don't teach me nonsense, right? Now I was trying to let my people see, because in Africa people respect teachers. You know, teachers, because they teach English and they teach their pupils, you know. Respect teachers and pastors, you know, in Africa. So, okay, now I saw that I should now use teacher as my focus. So I said, I titled the song, Teacher, Don't Teach Me Nonsense. Now, I now wove this song into letting the people see that the white men have taught us everything we know. But I made people see also that one important thing they taught us was politics. Because I wove in the song to the elections in Nigeria, because it was a farce. Now I mentioned democracy. Now in English, an Englishman will say democracy. But if the African man wants to say it in broken, he will say democracy. You see now. I now thought of the word. I said crazy. That's now I saw craziness. I said I could now see let my people see that democracy really is not that word, that it's really madness, you know. So I said, now I started to sing. I said, I start to think of this word democracy. Democracy. Crazy demo. Demonstration of grace. Crazy demonstration. Then I went a little bit serious because I know that people will laugh at that when they hear that. Then I went a little bit serious. I said, now, if it's not crazy, why that in Africa, as time goes forward, things is getting worse. Poor man, they cry. Rich man, they mess. Democracy. Crazy demo. Demonstration of grace. Then I ended up, to fuck the minds of the colonialists up, I said, if good teacher teach something, if a good teacher teaches something, and a student make mistake, teacher must tell him that he's making mistake.
One, two, 1, 2. We live and direct. If you don't know what time it was, this is RSTV, and that was Fela Kuti. You know what I'm saying? One of my favorite revolutionary artists who I got with me right now. What's up, brother?
I'm good, bro. How you doing?
I'm good to go, man. Live and direct. I feel like a revolution today. How you feeling?
I'm happy to be with you, brother Kalonji, man. It's been a long time coming.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. For the people who are unfamiliar, who are lost in the sauce, whose radios don't work, their TV don't work, their newspapers don't work, their minds don't work. Tell us who you are, brother.
My name is Seun Kuti. I'm the pro tem chairman of the Movement of the People. I'm also the frontman for the legendary Egypt 80 band. I'm a father and husband. Yeah, and all the things in between, Yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
So that's who I am in a nutshell. Whatever else you want to know, listen, ask me.
We here. Listen, I've been trying to get this brother on here since he was like 12. I'm just joking. But he's been over there kicking up dirt. You know what I'm saying? Fucking up Nigeria with truth. You know what I'm saying? Giving them that pure revolutionary energy. You know what I mean? He's definitely a freedom fighter. He's an artist. You know what I'm saying? He's a warrior. You know what I mean? And definitely glad to have him on here. He's also the son of Fela Kuti, as we know.
Yeah, that's my dad. Little thing I left out,
Yeah. Just a minor thing. No doubt.
Just a thing,
No doubt. For people who are unfamiliar with your father, if you don't mind, a brief bio. You know what I'm saying? Because I can give a bio, but it don't mean nothing unless it's coming from the spirit. So for folks coming from you, who is Fela Kuti?
Well, to me, he was a great father and friend, mentor, biggest influence in African music, I have to say. And also Afrobeat music, which was his artistic and cultural creation. You know, is a global phenomenon today. Not just, I'm not talking about the pop Afrobeats everybody listens to now, you know. I'm talking about real big band Afrobeat music with people from Japan and Germany, New York, in Chicago, in Los Angeles, in France, bands all over the world, in the UK, I mean, Australia, thousands of bands all over the world playing this Afrobeat music, you know, trying to pay their own, or trying to, how do I say, pay homage in their own way to this movement that my father started globally. You know, he was also he was a socialist, uh, Pan-Africanist, and, you know, people always mistake revolutionaries and freedom fighters for social justice warriors.
That's right.
You know, I think these two groups shouldn't be held to the same criteria. You know, Fela was a freedom fighter, you know, and in his quest, yes, justice was a big part of that quest, but the totality of his ambition was the liberation of African people, you know, all over the world, you know. And I think so many people mistake him for a social justice activist kind of guy, you know. But these are true, like Malcolm X, you know. These are people that were freedom fighters first and foremost, you know, by any means necessary kind of human beings. So yeah, I mean, we miss him. We just finished celebration like 3 weeks ago, the annual celebration of his life here in Nigeria. It is a week-long musical festival. You know, maybe you should come out one of these days next year.
Yeah, I'm there. 'Cause that's the only way I'm gonna catch you. I'm definitely there for sure. Sure. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you know, you mentioned that he was a freedom fighter, and I'm glad that you said that. And I see in real time over the years, you know, to your point, folks have definitely tried to make him, you know, point him out as a pop culture type guy. You know what I'm saying? They had the plays and all of that, and while I can imagine it's good to get the name out, you know what I'm saying? It takes the bite out sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Well, one thing I would say about the play is that I don't know if you've seen the play.
Yeah.
I think it went above and beyond like a regular like Broadway show in terms of tapping into his experience with the Nigerian government, his own political. I think the show was quite uncompromised because there was no way to compromise Fela's story. There was no compromise. You know, there was no way to like meet the world halfway. It was
Right.
either you told this man's story or you didn't. There was no soft way to tell it. It was not there. There's no Selma for Fela. You know,
Right.
where you can cut out Stokely Carmichael and kind of make everything look like nice. And these guys, you know, with Fela's story, the only way it has value is if you tell it the way it is.
That's
You
right.
know, and for me, what was even more touching was the dive into the spiritual as well on the Broadway show.
Right.
I think Fela's spirituality mattered so much to him because I wasn't part of the development of the show. You know, I'm not that serious of a guy.
Right.
My family was though. It was, you know, but when I saw the finished product, I was kind of impressed with that. You know, but that being said, in the larger picture of the narrative that Fela is in the world, you know. Just like the way in our educational system here, when they teach us about my grandmother, you know, all they teach us in school about her is, oh, she's the first woman to drive a car in
Hmm.
Nigeria.
Hmm.
There's also a way that this system can only interpret African people or the value of African people in capitalist terms. So every time the mainstream tries to embrace Fela, that's why I said I was impressed with the play
Right.
because the play didn't go that route. every time I see the mainstream world try to embrace my dad, they can't see value. They can't see the value of being past those things that they can sell.
Right.
And not just him. This is the way the system engages with everything African. Because as African people, we were once commodity to this system.
That's right.
The only thing of value to this system that black people, the only thing of value that black people can, the only thing of value black people have that this system can recognize are the things that it can commodify. So if it can't be commodified, it does not see value in those aspects of individuals, groups, or even our culture at large. You know, so I think that is the mistake that the mainstream makes. Not just with my dad. I wouldn't say it is unique to Fela.
Right.
It is the only way the system knows how.
Right. And why the reason I went to that first is because you mentioned the whole social justice aspect, right? Because it's more comfortable for Europeans. It's more comfortable for Negroes. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna get to class warfare within this convo as well. But it's more comfortable when you say social justice opposed to revolutionary. It's more comfortable than saying that you resist, because when you resist, that means that you come with that fire. You're not trying to conform. You're not trying to with all due respect, I hear people, they talk about Bob Marley, and for folks who hadn't heard of Fela, I would compare Fela more to a Peter Tosh.
It's
You understand what
Tosh.
I'm saying? Yeah.
But Mali too was powerful in his own way.
Indeed, in his own way, and we respect Bob. It's not a slight, but the world was more comfortable with Bob because of multiple reasons. But like you said, with your dad, it's just like, look, I'm an African. This is what it is.
This is why I think Bob as well, being the genius that he was, when I listen to his interviews or read some of the interviews he gave in his time, Bob was a revolutionary in his words and his sayings.
Right.
I think
right.
it's easier for the system to embrace his music. He wasn't as vocal in his music as he was when he spoke as a man.
Right.
I think maybe that's why they had to remove the man from the music real quick.
Yeah, real quick. Yeah.
Because Bob as a man, when he spoke, he was so inspiring. He still inspires me. I think his spoken words that he had left in this world in terms of the interviews, both the little ones on YouTube, or when you come across things he said in like magazines back in the day, for the interviews he granted, Bob was the real deal.
Without a doubt.
Dedication to the liberation of Zimbabwe as well. The amount of time, money he gave to the guerrillas, encouragement. How many artists today would relate with any African revolutionary group in that manner? Zero.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They'll send some shoes.
Yeah.
Some shoes to school. They'll send some shoes and some basketballs to a school.
He says shoes as basketballs. And that's the revolutionary artist. No doubt, no doubt. Man, so I mean, and you mentioned your grandmother. You come from a long line of freedom fighters, going all the way back to your great grandfather, right? You know what I'm saying? Just as far as that lineage, your lineage was long. You know what I'm saying? And your grandmother as well. Recognized as a freedom fighter outside of just I am the mother of or I am the grandmother of. You know what I mean? If you could talk about her a little in her life, because I think that again, with me bringing you on here, I didn't just bring you on here because I'm a fan of your music. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I like your music, but fuck the music. We talking about liberation. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate your work because you ain't just rapping for the sake of rapping, and you ain't just trying to make a hot song. you're very vocal, like your father, like your grandmother, so on and so forth. So if you don't mind speaking to us about, who your grandmother was and who she is to freedom fighters, not just in Nigeria but abroad.
Well, Fumilayo Ransom Kuti was a foremost socialist revolutionary. She was the first black woman to visit China because she was the confidant of Chairman Mao.
Hmm.
This young African girl, I find her life fascinating. A movie about her was just made. That was where the premiere was yesterday. That was what clashed our thing yesterday.
No doubt. There was a good excuse though. You was like, look, I'm at my grandmother's movie showing, so I don't want to hear shit. So I was cool with that.
Yeah, I didn't know it was last minute. My sister told me,
Nah.
so I had to take 5. Listen, anyway, she was also a confidant of Nkrumah, very close friend of uh, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah,
Yes.
whose works she began to introduce to my dad, and I think my dad met him a few times too, due to their connection. Yeah, my grandmom was an incredible woman. I mean, I don't know where to even begin, but her life was cut short. She was killed in 77. She died in 78, but she was actually killed in 77 when she was thrown out the window during the siege on my father's house. Everybody says it's my father's house, but it was actually my grandmother's house that she gifted to my dad, when he came of age. So yeah, she was incredible. She was an amazing, amazing woman. She also led the Abeokuta women's rebellion against the colonial taxation that led to the dethronement of the then Alake of our land, of our town, called the Alake of Egba, our town, of the Egba people, my ethnic group. Which was, she was a very fiery lady. Let me put it that way, and very powerful as well.
Yeah. So you saying that the police threw her out the window, basically?
The military, the
military.
police.
Okay, and what was the? I mean, there's no logical reason, but what was the reason? Because we've heard stories, of course, but we learned that oftentimes when we don't talk to the source, you know what I'm saying, things get distorted. So what would you say?
I think my grandma was killed when my dad's house was being burnt. It was the siege of Kalakuta Republic. The day when the republic was burnt. I don't think they had any other reason except, this was also, a way to silence my father.
Right.
And to get rid of a strong opponent of the military regime, which is my grandmother at the same time. It was killing 2 birds. Give me a second. Yeah, I'll be done soon. Sorry, I have people in the studio. I'm sorry. Go on.
No doubt.
I'm really sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So basically, they had problems with your father because your father was outspoken. What was, I mean, what was that? What did that mean in that time? What was he talking about? What was their
My dad
problem?
was vocal about everything, and then we were majority of African countries were under the military regimes. These were dictatorships that did not allow any kind of dissent, any kind of association, and everybody had to toe the line. And here was this musician who absolutely refused to be how they wanted him to be, and used his music and his lifestyle to rebel against the dictatorship that was in my country. And they made him pay a heavy price for that. He was used as an example over and over again, and every time they knocked him down, he stood right back up and came back for more. And it was a macabre dance that they had, him and these dictatorships. The different coups and new regimes. It was really a macabre dance. one that my father fought through his music, and they beat him up with sticks and bats and guns and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah. And he continued on. He continued to fight. He continued to struggle, and his spirit of resistance continues to live to this day, because eventually, you decided that you wanted to be the same. You wanted to do the same. You wanted to be a singer, a freedom fighter. How did that come about?
Well, I think knowing what I know today as my, even if I wasn't my father's son, if I knew the things I knew today about the situation of African people all over the world, I would want to use my talents for the liberation of my people also. And I think that's what is lacking in our global family as African people, that we do not believe that our liberation is worthy of our talents. And it's not our fault. It's just because we're indoctrinated through this uh, colonialist education, imperialist educational system that indoctrinates us into uh, uh, willing tools of empire. It takes a lot of effort for an African person to break this chain in their minds, because we have been through their educational system, which has set the examples of what we think is right and wrong, and the people we think are proper and those that we think are improper. These are strong, very strong pillars, that hold the system up in the minds of millions and millions of African people all over the world.
Right. So with that, you had the I think you're about 10 years younger than me, but at the same time you had the opportunity to share the stage with your father. You end up joining his band, is that correct?
Yeah. I started playing with my dad when I was 8. He died when I was 14. I became the lead man for the band, and I've been in the band ever since.
Word. And so how has that, helped you? How's that worked as far as putting you on this path that you're on right now?
Well, I don't know, for me, like every human, I feel I'm on this journey, no map. I got a lamp though, and just trying to figure out which path is the right path, and taking it one step at a time, one day at a time, because everybody's journey is unique.
Word.
I'm here right now because I feel so many things have happened in this world for billions of years to ensure that I am at this point at this time.
Word.
And this is where real spirituality comes in. Being able to uh, recognize that path which is yours, and where you are really why you are at this point in time. And understanding that and being able to link that to the path that you are on is the true righteousness. That's true righteousness. So,
Word.
and that's one of the greatest lessons my dad also tried to teach me. That I came to understand as I grew up. And I'm happy was shared that with me, even though I didn't understand those things as a kid. I recognized them as an adult.
Word.
So yeah.
Yeah, man. You've been speaking out a lot about class warfare over in Nigeria as of late. Um, for folks who are in the states, in like the U.S., of course, living under this particular regime here, we often think that nowhere on the earth suffers like Africans in America. You know what I'm saying? That's that the arrogance of the slaves here, right? Um, I want
Well,
you, if you
the truth about the matter is no one suffers like Africans anywhere in the world.
that's right, that's right, that's right.
I don't like to play the me and my friends call it the suffering Olympics.
Like who's the worst? Who's
Man, I got it worse than you, man.
but,
I
but
can't,
what?
man. I can't harder than you. Know what the fuck you talking about, man? Is it something
Yeah,
we
so
call it Olympics? I don't like playing that game.
No doubt, no doubt.
I know for a fact though that in every community African people are found in this world, we go through the same experience with the security agencies. We go through the same experience with the educational institutions. We go through the same experience with the housing institutions. We go through the same experience with the financial institutions. We go through the same experience with the global machinery of control, you know. And if we think any different other than that, then that black person is really not living in reality. So I don't really play the, I understand and I see the boot that is on our neck,
Sure.
and that my goal is to get as many black people as possible all over the world to work with me to lift that boot off our necks, you know.
No question. No question. Yes, yes, yes. Nah, that's on point. I, um, I know you got, you limited on time. You're in the studio and all that, and
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that.
Hit you guys with that fire. It doesn't look like it because I'm tired, but listen, it
Man,
is.
listen, man. You got it, man. It's a war going on outside. Give me like 10 more minutes and we could go ahead. I'm gonna send you on your way if that's cool with you. I
Yeah,
don't
man.
want no problem. I want no problems with you.
I'm, we
You,
ain't
you
got
know,
no problem, bro.
word, word, word. I know that you're working on an album. I'm gonna get to that. But like right now, we've been seeing, resistance coming from you earlier this year. I want to salute you for I think it was May or March or May or whatever, you know what I'm saying, when you was making sure your slapper still worked, you know what I mean? So over there slapping pigs, I was like, okay, this cat right here. I caught the live video. I'm like, okay, that's my man right there.
You know, I ain't gonna say much. I'm still in court, so you know,
Okay, okay,
I'm
okay, okay. You ain't
I'm just
gotta say nothing. You
gonna
ain't
say
gotta
that,
say nothing.
but I'm enjoying the things I'm hearing. Yeah, go on, man.
No question, no question. You know what I'm saying? For more on that, you ain't gotta ask him. Just go to YouTube, type his name in, and put in slap. You inspired.
Sounds
You took me
like a man.
back.
Sounds
Huh?
like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
a,
I mean, real quick because I know that it's some corruption going on over there right now. I want to touch on that a little bit because I think it's important because like we live in Atlanta and like my brother Daruba would say the slaves run the plantation here, right? So, and I know that in Nigeria it ain't nothing different.
the
White
slave
supremacy,
run the slave market here.
no doubt, no doubt. The whole market.
Yeah, it's a market here. You know,
Word.
you guys have the plantation, we've got the market.
Oh, y'all got the market. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all these, you know.
Y'all step ahead with class. But what does that look like? I know that right now, for folks that aren't familiar, you know, give us a little bit of what's going on with that whole situation real quick.
Well, oh no, I mean, listen, it's one story of a million that we've been through in this country, you know, and it's a global thing, you know. I mean, it's not peculiar to us as Nigerians. The fact that the elites of every society want to corner every resource in that society just for their own benefit to the detriment of every other group in society. I mean, it's not peculiar to the elites of Nigeria. What is peculiar to them, though, is that those things that they are willing to do is detrimental to their country. You see, the European elites do things that are detrimental to other groups in their country, but ultimately they want to keep their country strong.
Right.
This is, you know, why I agree with Kwame Ture when he says the African bourgeoisie are the most corrupt bourgeoisie in the world.
Without a doubt.
You know, because they do things that are detrimental to the future generations of their own people, to their own nation. You know, they actually weaken their nation. You know, and that for me is treachery. You
Right.
know,
Right.
so this P and ID thing I was discussing on my live that day was, I don't even want to go into it because
Right.
The people I spoke about have gone to the press. They want to turn it into this gutter mud slinging contest so that everybody loses focus of the issues. So I don't want it to be as if I planned this interview with you as a response to them. I don't want to,
Right.
if they really have an issue, let's go to court.
Right.
You know,
Right. No doubt.
the truth of the matter is everything I said wasn't even my words. If you have issues with anybody, you should take it up with the judge. Who said the lawyer could not even comprehend the questions he was being asked due to the answers he gave. Now, I'm not even technical to understand how those answers did not meet up to the expectations of a professional like himself. But for the judge to have said that, he knows what he's saying. And I don't hear you suing the judge for libel. So why are you trying to sue me, man? Why me?
Yeah.
Is it because he's white and I'm black, man? Is it because he's an English judge? Listen,
I saw that.
these people are crazy. You live in a country so poor and you're charging your country $200 million for this shabby ass representation. Listen, let's talk about something more serious, man. The reckoning is coming, bro. The reckoning has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with you. They can silence a million of us. They can sue us to 1,000 courts, but the reckoning cannot be stopped. It's coming. It's coming. And it's not just about African people's, it's not even about the restoration of African people now. This is Mother Nature correcting herself. She's going to correct herself, because there's been so much negativity, toxicity, spilled into her, not of her doing, but out of the reckless behavior of her prodigal children.
Right.
I mean, today on Diallo's show, he was talking about he doesn't understand why people are scared of the nuclear holocaust. Like, we're already living the nuclear holocaust.
That's right.
Nuclear bombs have been tested since 1950 on this earth. Where did all that nuclear toxicity go?
No, man.
It's even in the charts. He brought out the cancer charts. You had 3% of having cancer before, if you were born before Second World War. It was a 3% chance. Now it's a 36% chance of getting cancer if you were born after Second World War. So we're already living in a nuclear apocalypse. So something has got to give. Humanity is oppressed, nature is oppressed. Just for a few people on Earth to I don't know what is it they do again. I don't know what is it they do.
Rape the continent. That's what they do. They rape the continent. That's what they do. But hey, man, what can we do? You know what I'm saying? Pan-Africanism. You know what I'm saying? Africans worldwide. How do we lock arms? You know what I'm saying? In your estimation. You know what I mean?
Organize above the narratives that they spew in our communities through their outrage media, through their right-wing media, seeking to prop up every division that could be propped up among the global African family. Be it ADOS, FBA, be all these battle of the sexes and whatever it is that dominates the conversations between African people. Maybe the Jollof conversations between Ghanaians, and Nkrumah will be turning in his grave.
Arguing about rice. Like,
found out that in 2023, the biggest discussion between Nigerians and Ghanaians
he's
is
wilding.
the conversation about whose rice is better.
Man, you that right there, you smashed it, because it's like, this is where the fuck we are. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like it's when you talking about the sidetracking of the slave, it's like we talking about revolution and you arguing about who rice is the best.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
rice better, your rice, man.
And ready to go to war over the rice.
Bring the rice, bring the rice, bring the rice to the battlefront. We need to feed the troops. Bring the
Yeah,
rice.
yeah. That's all we need. You know what I'm saying? Adopt that strategy. You
We
know what
need
I'm
to feed
saying?
the troops, man. Bring the rice.
Yeah, we gonna win in spite of ourselves.
So I think that we just need to organize above the needs of the social media engineers and their masters, the needs of the financial institutions, the needs of the political institutions, the needs of the media institutions, and how they expect us to be and behave, and really have a conversation amongst ourselves of how we should be and what we think we should be in relation to our reality in this world, not our fantasy, not what we think we are, blah, 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 but the true reality of the majority of our people and how to change that reality. How do we raise our consciousness so we can change our reality? Because our reality can be greater than our collective consciousness. So even in my country, I say to a lot of my members of the MOP that the MOP's number one goal is to raise the consciousness of the Nigerian people, because our nation cannot be greater than our consciousness. Our nation is the collective, is the reflection of our collective consciousness. And also the Black global African families situation is a reflection of our collective global African consciousness. And the more we are able to sieve this mundane nonsense that we say, what we say is how we major in the minor,
Word up.
not saying, and actually begin to major in the major. I
What it
think
is.
that's the
Yeah.
step we need to take as a global, and just remember that we are one family, and even if our destination is not the same,
No doubt.
if we want to go, it's not the same as a people. You know, the fact that we have somewhere to go, is something we all have in common. All African people all over the world, we know we still have our destiny to accomplish. So I believe uh, we need to decide, as far as Fanon says, out of relative obscurity, discover what our mission is as a generation, and choose to either betray or fulfill it.
That's right. That's right.
So,
Yeah. You mentioned MOP real quick, Movement of the People. What's that
yeah,
about? Because people not familiar with it.
the Movement of the People was the political party my father started in 1974, I think. No, 1976.
Right, right.
Yeah. And he tried to get it registered, but he was not successful. And we revived the party 3 years ago. And we want to take it one step further and at least get the party registered and create this platform for our people to begin to seek true political power. We don't want political representation. We want political power,
Without a
to
doubt.
us, you know. So
That's what it
this,
is.
this is what we're trying to create for the people, bring power to the people so that the people can truly experience the changes that can come to their life when true power is there, not just represented, but actually there in action.
Well, hey man, we got to start Movement of the People over here. Our organization is FTP, for the people. So I think Movement of the People fit right in. So let's talk about how we expand that shit right over here and make it a revolutionary political organization across the globe.
So, man, in the spirit of Chairman Fred Hampton,
Without a
uh,
doubt.
great,
Yes.
let's always call him and his spirit into our midst. Anytime we talk organizing, let's call the spirit of the great Kwame Ture, the great organizer Kwame Nkrumah. This
That's right.
man who was able to achieve the greatest heights of political organization, all over the world. The great organizer Marcus Garvey, you
Patrice
know,
Lumumba,
Patrice
Fidel
Lumumba,
Cabral. You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? Yeah.
I mean,
Dedan Kamati.
so
Yes.
many great brothers, Huey
Yes.
P. Newton, Eldridge,
Cleveland. Yeah.
Eldridge David. You know, all these European names are hard for me. You know, they're the name brothers. You know,
No
but
doubt.
push through. You know,
No doubt.
we call on all their spirits every time. You know, so that they are around and can inspire us while we commence and or rather embark on this great journey of reorganizing our people. You know.
Yo, man. In the spirit of your father, Fela Kuti,
Yeah.
we appreciate your work, and as these imperialists would say, thank you for your service. You know what I'm
So
saying?
for having
You
me.
know,
I
yeah.
love your service.
Hey, brother, without a doubt, we gonna win. It's one Africa. Um, Real quick on that music, man. You know what I'm saying? For folks who are unaware, you gotta grab his shit. I mean, I'm talking about like right now, the alarm that wakes me up, the alarm that alerts me is Bad Man Lighter. You know what I'm saying? With him and Black Thought.
Yes, my big brother and
I'm murdering it right now. You know what I'm
uh,
saying?
brother Tariq has always
Yes,
been a supporter of not just my music, but what we stand for as African people and what we're trying to achieve.
without
Um,
a doubt.
Together, we're able to bring that spirit of not just liberation, but true cultural exchange. You know, where I could bring my music and his music, and we made it into something so new. Because at the same time, you know, I don't believe that hip hop is American music. I know
Without a
people
doubt.
might get this, you know, but this is how they take what is ours, because that's how they separate us from what is ours also. You
Sure.
know, everything that is African is used for the benefit of everyone else but African people.
Right.
You know, so yeah, hip hop. So African kids growing up in Africa listening to hip hop think, oh, it's American music.
Nah, it's
Even though
Africa, baby.
clearly that it is African people making this music.
Right. Right.
Yeah, you see, reggae music is Jamaican music. I mean, when did that island ever make any music, man? This is the
It's
African
Africa, baby.
that island making that
Right on.
music. You
Right.
know, so all these things belong to us. As soon as we get our acts together, all these things will
Right.
begin to work to our benefit, will work for us, will enrich us, will empower us as a people. Because we will understand that it is collectively our heritage, you know, and we'll be able to move within it in a different way. You know, it will be a world to us, our own world. We are the only ones that own all these great things. Wow. And in a whole continent just full of resources to back it up. Let's go.
No doubt. We gotta bring Afrobeat back. So we waiting for your next album because Afrobeat is I don't know. It look like it got a perm on it right now. You know what I'm saying?
So I'm gonna set it straight.
You gonna set it straight? All right, we waiting for you, man. When's the new album coming out, man?
I'm gonna give her that crew cut again that she likes.
You gonna get it
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right on, right on. When's the next album coming out, man? I know you in the
Uh,
studio now.
Next year we're gonna drop the first singles. We're gonna drop a few singles from the album because there's some really heavy tracks on it that I want to put out and give
Right.
them the attention before we put out the full project. I have Lenny Kravitz producing for me on this project. I have a few surprise guest artists. This is the first album I'm doing actually with more than one guest artist. So I'm really looking forward to bringing this to the world.
I'm gonna have to send my demo so I can get the intro. But
Yeah,
anyway,
let's see. You
no
know,
doubt.
I'm gonna get my people call your people, bro, Kalonji.
we, hey, you bad enough to catch. I definitely ain't dealing with your people. But anyway, man, love you, brother, man. Keep on winning. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you. I know it's like 1 o'clock or close to it over there. You know what I
Midnight.
mean?
I'm
Yeah.
supposed to be done with this session at 1, but I'm
Hey,
gonna keep
man.
it here till 3 because I've spent some time with you. You know,
Are you gonna
so
blame it on me now, huh? Okay.
yeah, yeah. I know they are not happy, but they can't say shit.
Hey, man. Hey, man. Tell us all about revolution. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But yo, man, keep winning, man.
Warrior,
We're gonna see you soon. No doubt. Warrior music. All right, brother. Stay ready for revolution.
thank you, brother Kalonji. Good
You
night.
win it, brother. Yes, sir. Good night, my brother. You checking out RSTV. That was Seun Kuti. You know what I'm saying? And he got a whole lot. You know, we was able to get that little bit of time in. We appreciate you all coming through and checking them out. I implore you, if you're not up on his music, go check out his catalog. A whole lot of hard body music. Been dropping it, if not 20 years, close to it as far as on wax. You know what I mean? So make sure you check out, support his music. It's always good to get some good food on Freedom Fighter Friday, because that's who we are. This RSTV, Freedom Fighter Friday. I want y'all to make sure that you continue to support our efforts, support our work, and we're gonna have something good for you at all times. Stay tuned. On this Monday, I have an interview with Wise Intelligent for Poor Righteous Teachers. As you may have noticed, if you've been around, we've been trying to bring you consistent, hardcore theory and practice. Again, we had Chuck D on a few weeks ago, Dead Prez last week. Shout out to our sister Claudia De La Cruz. We had her on a few days ago. Of course, this was Seun Kuti. We have Wise Intelligent, like I said, coming Monday, 8 a.m. So make sure you tune in for that. Support our work, support our efforts. I want to take it back to the studio. For those of you who've been following us for a minute, we had Renegade Culture live and direct inside the studio. That's what I want to do, that with RSTV. You know what I'm saying? I got some things I'm going to be adding to the table, to the plate in the new year. You know what I mean? So I'm not even going, it's a lot of biters out there, so I can't really tell y'all what I'm going to do or how I'm going to do it. But make sure you support our efforts, support our work, share, like, subscribe to the channel. You know what I'm saying? Catch me on Twitter. I got some exclusives I'm going to be dropping on there. Twitter is at Kalonji Changa. Support all of our efforts, man. We here. That's what it's all about. Stay tuned. It's a war going on outside. We already know that, but we're gonna win in spite of ourselves. We'll continue to support our efforts. I also want to say that next year, June, is the 20-year anniversary of the organization I represent, the FTP movement. Shout out to the FTP movement. I usually don't say much about FTP on here because we do more working than we do talking, and that's just what it is. You know what I mean? But that work in the streets, globally, it's felt. But like I said, 20 years of FTP next year. We will have some live and direct things. I'm showing you a lot of these different artists, and for some of you who appreciate what we're doing at Black Power Media and RSTV, I try to bring on certain types of guests. I try to remind folks that that we are plugged with the folks who are on the ground. You know what I'm saying? You might not dig all of our guests. That's okay. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna give you that critical political action. And that's what it's all about. But next year we hope to see you all live and direct with a whole lot of new content. And at the same time, again, June 2024. 20-year anniversary of the FTP movement. We're going to have all types of different artists, many of the artists that you've seen on the platform. We're going to have all different types of freedom fighters, many of the freedom fighters you've seen on the platform. And I must say to you, as far as RSTV, you haven't seen anything yet. This is purely, up until now, I can honestly say this has been more of an introductory situation. This has been this has just been an opening, but we have a whole lot of folks that will be coming on, dignitaries from all walks of life, you know what I mean, as far as African people. Again, we support you all, continue to support us. Again, subscribe to the channel, share what it is we're bringing. We love you. Stay focused, and stay ready for revolution, because that's what it's all about. RSTV, we are OUT.
Sometimes the riot is a quiet one. Well, the battle is to love yourself and function in society where voices of reason are muted by anxiety, like gaining notoriety is selling your soul. So we tend to go no deeper than the shallow water level, trying to keep us overhead in the face of all the slurs and the stares. Mentally frozen, paralyzed by fear of failure and success. So we lock, stock, barrel, running while it's crumbling. All these towers and they're babbling, but the baby's in the bath and a stash under the bed on my head, spinning from the circles and the puppets and the strings that they pull. Then we move. Reactionary warfare never produces winners on the field. Feeble and foolish. What tools and what weapons are we using? We need some new ones. Real revolution. It's real solutions. Well, we've taken on the ways of the ones who conquer with their guns and religion and division. Got my inner me looking like my enemy. Real revolution. Well, my inner me, really a mirror for the galaxy. New time, brand new paradigms, new contracts to sign. They thought that this would all be televised, though it's happening right before our very eyes. It's on the inside, with their guns cocked. When that rock drops, standing on the rooftop, praying that the mountaintop can live inside the valley. People tell me the reward is somewhere off in heaven, like heaven's only in the sky. Like chariots are swinging, like God is something separate from yourself, from your wealth, from your lover, from your neighbor. Oh, your savior is coming in your own name, coming with the face the same. Real revolution. It's real solutions. Well, we've taken on the ways of the ones who conquer with their guns and religion and division. Got my inner me looking like my enemy. Real revolution. Where my enemy is really a mirror for the galaxy. And so we lock, stock, barrel, running while it's crumbling. All these towers and they're babbling, but the baby's in the bath and the stash under the bed. Oh, my head spinning from the circles and the puppets and the strings they pull. Then we move. Reactionary warfare never produces winners on the field. Feeble and foolish. What tools and what weapons are we using? We need some new ones. It's real revolution. Producing real solutions. Because we've taken on the ways of the ones who conquer with their guns and religion and division. Real revolution. Where my enemy is really a mirror for the galaxy.